Welcome to Maple Ridge Studios WordPress tutorial, Part 1, Accessing and Registering on a Website. I am Paul, Senior Virtual Technical Education Communications Assistant for Maple Ridge Studio. I will be your guide for this part of the tutorial. This tutorial will assume that you have little or no knowledge of working with websites on the Internet. We will start at the very beginning and take you step by step through the process of accessing and then registering on a WordPress site. Since this tutorial was created for the Stanley Bridge Memorial Society, we will be using a practice version of their actual website. This practice website will be found at sbmsi.ca. Their actual website is at stanleychapelcenter.ca. Let's get started. As you can see, we are starting with our web browser pointed to the search site at google.ca. This is done not to advertise Google but to illustrate a point about reaching our desired website. Because this is the practice website, not open to the general public, and protected by requiring a username and password, it is not accessible through search engines such as Google, Yahoo, or Bing, etc. This means that if we type the website's name into the search engine search window and clicked search, the website would not be found. To access this private website, we have to type its name directly into the address bar of the browser. This address bar is located at the top of the browser window. The actual location of the address bar will vary from browser to browser. For this tutorial we will be using the Google Chrome browser. You may be using a different browser such as Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari or another of the dozens of browsers out there, but the address part will be more or less in the same place. Looking at the address of the site you're currently on, in this case google.ca, you will notice that the address is spelled as https://www.google.ca. The first part of this address is actually not required in modern browsers. You will need only to type in the name of the website, in this case sbmsi.ca. The browser will fill in the rest. Let's go ahead and do that now. If we click with the left mouse button in the address bar, the existing address should be highlighted. If it isn't, start at the end of the text in the space, hold down the left mouse button and drag it over the text to highlight it. You then can start typing. The highlighted text will be replaced with what you type. As I start to type, a drop-down menu appears with a number of choices. That's because I have been to this site before. Most browsers will do this if the feature is turned on, as it usually is by default. The choices change as I type and the browser tries to identify a website that might match what I am about to type. I could click on one of them if it matched where I wanted to go, but right now, since you have never been to sbmsi.ca, you won't get the site in the drop-down list. We will just hit enter and wait for the website to load. This will take anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes, depending on the speed of your connection and computer. Remember that I mentioned that the practice website is not open to the general public. You have now reached the gateway to that website. You must enter a username and password to access the site. The username for this site is tutorial, the password is student. You must type them in the appropriate boxes exactly as given, all in lowercase. I will do so now. First, the username, TUTORIAL. Next, the password, STUDENT. Click OK. Now we are at the website, but how do we get into it to add to it or modify it? We first have to register, then log in. Since there is no registration button on this website, we have to access the administrative section through the address bar, just as we did for the website itself. To do this, we simply add /WP for WordPress, a dash, and ADMIN for administration to the website name, then hit enter again. That gets us to the login screen, but we don't yet have a username and password. We have to register first. Just below the password window, on the left side is the word register. Clicking it with the left mouse button brings up the registration screen. Wait for it. Here it is. It is almost the same as the login screen. However, the password text box has been replaced with an email box. You will need to have a valid email address that you can access in order to obtain the password needed to log into the website. Start by choosing a username for yourself and typing it into the username text box. Your username can be whatever you wish, unless the name has been taken, but you will not be able to change your username once you are registered, so pick one you can live with for a while. I have chosen Tutor for my username. So, I type it in the box. Then type your email address into the email box. And click on Register. A message appears telling you to check your email for a password. So now let's check our email, get our password, take a break, and return for part 2 of the tutorial. Logging in.